5 News reporter Alex Durham is live there now with a look at some heavy damage.
Hey, good morning, Charlie and April. Those 2 tornadoes that hit last night were really close to home. There is a different feeling in the air today. People are feeling hopeful. They're feeling motivated. This is the guy's truck, and there's actually tin or aluminum of some sort that just is jammed. All that's left now is a scene of complete devastation. Now, there are 20 buses. The family tells me that they're in complete disbelief, that this is something that happens to other people, not them. This was a completely level surface, and now it has ruts for days. Known as Hog Noxious, you might have seen him on top of the dugout yelling like a crazy fan. So let's show you what's going on right now. So they're already starting to set up for First Friday Film Fest. Our hometown guy, Greg Bohannon, thank you so much for talking with us. So we'll be back in just a little bit with more. People are putting their boats in right now, so it's going to get kicked off pretty soon.
Taste the Guinness in there?
Ooh, feeling it, y'all.
It's about calling those hogs.
All right, let's call them. All right, well, as you can see, there's so much going on here already. This guy, I think he's just frozen still. Our traction was not good at all, and I can only imagine that this is just representing some of the other small roads in this area. Something that's going to be tricky is figuring out what to do with more than 300 students here at the elementary school and no school.
My son does go to school over there.
She's worried about the school.
Something kids might take for granted until it's gone.
In this country, we depend on the schools, for kids, but now we gotta figure it out.
2 dads of Goodman Elementary students wondering what's going to happen next.
We're pretty close to the end of the year, so I'm not for sure what they're going to do yet. I haven't heard.
There was no time to go out or hide, There was here.
Looking at what the tornado left behind, there's an exposed classroom surrounded by the crumbled walls of what used to be their kids' school.
So, there was no time to go out or hide.
This classroom wall of fame is still hanging on. Books sit untouched on the shelf next to destruction. The people of Goodman, Missouri are just thankful it wasn't worse.
We all made it.
I know it's probably hard to live with this disease, this horrible disease that you're going through.
This isn't your normal Valentine.
But I'll always love you no matter what disease you have.
But Gabby's not your normal 9-year-old either.
Sometimes he takes me out and let me ride my bike around.
Something kids might take for granted is a special moment with their dad, but Gabby cherishes every moment.
Because I have friends who they just don't understand.
12 years ago, family and friends started noticing the changes.
Well, he forgets sometimes about things.
Gabby's dad, Dennis, has Alzheimer's.
But I do know that when he does something wrong, he doesn't like it. Because he knows the Alzheimer's did it.
56 years young, and Dennis is battling the disease that's trying to steal everything.
And I love it when he has his days that he doesn't forget anything, and he feels so proud of himself.
Small moments are big victories, which is why Sweet Gabby expresses her love in the most simple ways.
I would probably do anything to take it away from him.
Gabby will remember her dad's love even when he might start to forget. But someday, she hopes what's written on these Valentines comes true.
I know it's tough sometimes, but you can make it through this. I know you can.
Just a couple blocks away from bustling downtown Fayetteville, down a quiet, narrow road,
historical ground.
Right here in Fayetteville
is a piece of land with a loud history.
This is Josh Thompson right here. That one over there is Kansada Sutton.
And then there's Sally.
I don't know who Sally is yet. I'm looking though.
Sally is one of 84 known burials here at East Mountain Cemetery. It dates back to around 1840 and holds the remains of both black and white Fayetteville residents. But Sally's story, like many others, is unknown.
All of what has occurred in Fayetteville, brought us to where we are today. It's part of the fabric. And I believe that all of these stories are important to our fabric and should be told.
Every headstone has been traced back to someone except Sally's.
Someone comes and leaves flowers. I don't know who is doing it.
Without a last name or birth date, the Arkansas Archaeological Survey has yet to find out who she is or where she came from. Sharon Killian has been slowly cleaning up the cemetery since 2014. She believes Sally was a slave.
And one day I'm going to find out.
Killian is making the preservation of the history at East Mountain Cemetery a main priority. even though it may not always be easy to look at.
Just kind of over there with vines and long limbs and whatnot.
Jimmy Whitfield remembers playing near the cemetery when she was a kid.
65 years ago, yeah.
But she had no idea she'd find the final resting place of so many behind the tall grass and curved fences.
This is real history here.
Whitfield says the cemetery still looks the same as it did several decades ago, but now she understands why.
I think it would be a wonderful thing to find out as much as we can. Who knows how many people will be inspired? This is a new age, you know.
And one day, Killian hopes East Mountain Cemetery will be a place where people can come learn about and appreciate Fayetteville's early settlers.
So instead of a history book, you know, or something that somebody has interpreted, or, you know, from their own eyes, we have burying places with character.
Wind just came up all of a sudden.
I've never heard anything like it.
A sound Alicia Condiff says, like so many others, rang out like a freight train. Alicia scooped up her kids and took cover.
We're grabbing them and running towards the front of the house.
Within seconds, the storm was over.
I mean, it was so fast. You could hear wood and stuff breaking.
Lisa Harper lives about a block apart from Condiff.
We used to have lots of limbs down.
Condiff's roof and back porch ended up in a neighbor's yard and scattered down the street.
That's completely open to the sky.
And when the sun came up after a long, stormy night, it was time to face the damage.
I'm kind of scared to go inside.
Living in a small community, the Condiff family is already seeing so much support.
The neighbors can always count on other neighbors coming to help them.
A home that's been in Condiff's family for more than 50 years now lies in pieces.
What was inside was safe, and God took care of that.
I've always done it. I mean, I started cooking when I was 5.
Growing up, Brent Hale spent a lot of his free time in the kitchen, but he was still a regular kid.
If it was green, I usually shied away from it.
Now, as a seasoned chef with his own business, he's learned to try new things, but some things just never change.
I love a good fresh green bean. I still don't like pickles.
Cooking is a family affair. Hale's parents and grandparents were all experts in the kitchen.
My daddy always said that a burger with mayonnaise is not a burger.
And now a dad himself, Hale is teaching his son the ropes too.
And then next thing we know, we've got eggs for breakfast in bed, which is pretty sweet, you know.
Hale says the family's love of cooking was passed down by his grandpa. William Almond Hale owned Hale's Luncheonette in Fort Smith many years ago.
There was a little luncheonette, you know, one of those kind of diner setups. So, I mean, his line, very similar to what we have set up here.
Even though this kitchen is on wheels, Hale imagines his grandpa would feel right at home. And although he never met him, he keeps his grandpa's memory very close.
I feel like I kind of harness his energy from time to time.
Hale uses inspiration from his grandpa to be creative and try new things, because you don't call a business big sexy food because the food isn't original.
We just kind of try to forget that we're on a food truck and produce good quality food.
Because that's what Grandpa Hale would have done too.
I think he might be in a food truck now. I'd hope to think that he'd be pretty proud of what we're doing.